All right, and welcome to episode 7 of CHOW. I guess you could call this Take 2. Technical issues, technical difficulties, I guess is the proper term to use. As always, with this setup, with this show. I'll look into something over the summer and see what I can fix, I guess. We just had a good conversation on the go about the growlers, and you can see me driving, you just can't hear me talk. Might be a blessing to some people.
No, I think he needs the audio for a podcast.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of how it works, right? Yeah, for sure. So we spoke on the Caribous. The local Caribous are off to the they're off to the Allen Cup. They are mostly composed of other teams' players, but there are a few local players that I will pull over and tell you. They're going off to Ontario to play for the Allen Cup.
Where exactly is it? Like what?
Dundas.
Oh, okay.
Dundas, Ontario.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
So we have Justin Pender as the captain on defense. He's a local favorite. We have my good buddy Liam Leonard as an alternative captain. Yeah, he's a forward. Then we have Mason Reed, Carl Robinson, which is a good pickup this year for the Caribous. He was a really good player this year. Thomas Hedges and AJ Whiffen in net are all Caribous players from this year's roster, as well as the coach Ivan Hapgood, operations manager Dan Clark, assistant coach Brad Power, and off-ice attendant Pat Stanley. We also have other players, Dan Cadigan from the Outer Cove Marines, Carl DeBow from the Blues. We have Michael Cole from the Caps, Brett Shute from the Seabees, McGurk from the Caps, Hodge and Wicks from the Blues, along with Bussy as well from the Blues, Carl Titford from the Seabees, Brad Connors from the Blues, Carl McGrath from the Caps, Dawson from the Seabees, Liam Best from the Seabees, and then we got Nick Lidstrom. It's good to pick up. Nick Lindstrom.
Now he might be out of his prime.
Yeah, well, I'd say he'd still be good for the Allen Cup.
Probably.
You got Lindstrom and Jenkins from the Blues. That's the roster for the Clarendon Ford Caribous competing for the 2023 Allen Cup. Now, it's not their first time playing for the Allen Cup. They actually had hosted the Allen Cup back in 2014.
Yeah.
They, I don't think they've done all that well.
You weren't around here in the last February.
I was here, but I didn't get to go to any of the games.
Oh, okay. That must have been in the old stadium too.
No, that was in the event center.
Okay.
I had just moved to Clarendon at that point, right? We were talking I believe that was in the fall.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, because that's starting to confuse me now, because if it's this time of year this year, why would it be in the fall 10 years ago? But I know that it was here in 2014, and the signs were up. I think it was here in September.
Okay.
But I was only here about 2 weeks. So I never...
The attendance was like, I think the event center sold out.
I'd say you had a lot of people showing up. They had that women's tournament there too one time. Sweden was there, the States was there. The women's teams come and played. They did really well. Seat sales there for those tournaments as well.
That's it. What was that, like an international tournament?
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly the name on it. Somebody else will probably pick up and say, "Oh, this is what it was." But there was an international tournament. There was, like I said, a team from Sweden, a team from States. Canada was there. Wickenheiser was playing.
Really?
Yeah.
Here in Clarendon?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if it was directly here in Clarendon or if they served as a second stadium to St. John's.
Yeah, maybe could have.
But, yeah, no.
I actually couldn't think about it. I think I've seen some banners up in the rafters when I was at a couple of Caribous games.
Okay.
That said something along those lines.
Yeah. I think I know which banner you're talking about.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, the attendance is definitely better than the Caribous games for regular season. I guarantee you that.
That was the attendance this year.
Uh,
I don't know when I used to go, like 2-3 years ago, maybe. Well, just before COVID, actually.
Yeah.
It would be alright attendance, I guess. Like maybe.
1,000 people.
Yeah, 1,000 people.
That's roughly what the best games were this year, 1,000 people. Now, that playoff game that they had that I went, I'd say there was 1,500 to 2,000 there for sure.
Okay.
But,
That's not bad.
no, not bad at all. But the regular season attendance can be really spotty at times.
Yeah, it all depends, I guess, on the time of year.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the regular season for that, the Breakers are playing the Deer Lake Red Wings for. I feel like it's robot. The Breakers are playing the Red Wings for the Herder. One game has been played. The Breakers won 4-1. I would assume the Breakers are heavy favorites to win that.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like I said, this is their first year back in about 11 years on the West Coast. So.
Yeah, it's been a number of years now. The attendance over there was spectacular.
Yeah.
The Royals game versus the Red Wings, the first game of the season, they sold out the Corner Brook Arena,
Really?
and they turned away another 500 people.
What's the capacity?
I did remember, but I can't. I think it was around 4,000, 5,000 people.
It's like, that's probably more than what goes to like Growlers games on average.
They sold out last game of the
They
season for
sold
Growlers.
out the second last game.
Second last game.
Yeah, so it's the Saturday night game.
Yeah, they sold out that. I believe it's around 4,000. I could be wrong on that number,
Okay.
but they sold out the arena and they turned away 500 more.
That's crazy though.
That's
For senior hockey. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's good. It just goes to show you that like some places actually really do appreciate their senior league hockey.
Well, I know, like when I was living here in Claremont, it was missing for like a year, and just, you miss it when you don't have it, but then when it's there, you almost take it for granted. Really.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Now, speaking of the Growlers, they start their playoffs next week against the Adirondack Thunder, is it?
Adirondack Thunder, yeah.
Adirondack
So
Thunder.
the first 3 games are on the road, starting the 18th, I think.
Okay.
And the first home game is 25th, so they'll play 3 games out in Adirondack,
Okay.
and then when they come back, they'll play 4 games in the Fairground Center.
Gotcha.
Well, not 4 games, it's only how many are necessary, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, if it goes to 7, they'll play 4 games.
Yes.
Well, yeah, so they play the first 3 on the road, and then 4, and then 5, 6, and 7 if necessary.
Yep.
Well, that should be a good series. That's the team that was playing when I brought my sister in to see him for
A
a
couple
birthday.
exciting players to watch for playoffs. O'Brien and Goldblatt.
Yeah, for sure. Well, they both have career years and franchise years, honestly, because O'Brien has the most points in franchise history now in a regular season, and Gogolev has the most goals in franchise history for a regular season. Now, mind you, the franchise is only
4 years old.
4 years old.
3.5 really, because actually I wouldn't even argue 2.5 because 1 year they didn't play,
They didn't play at all, yeah.
and then the 1 year they got cut short.
Yeah,
Went
that's
back
right.
to actually had season tickets that year.
Oh,
I won season tickets too. I didn't have
Ooh.
to pay for them, so like intermission games they run the ice sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, well they had like an intermission game where you could like shoot the puck from different spots. So I had to shoot from the hash mark,
Okay.
blue line, half, and then the far blue line. And I ended up winning like a bunch of stuff. It was a good season tickets, Coors Light mini fridge,
That's right.
a few Growler shirts, a couple hoodies, 2 dozen Coors Light, autograph stick,
My God, you had it made.
couple hats.
And you made all your shots.
Yes, of course.
Of course, he says. Like he was like young Mario Lemieux sat here in the car with me.
Well, I missed a couple, but they gave me like 3 large or something like that.
Wicked.
They didn't know I played hockey with them. So.
Well, I mean, anybody can go up and,
And at that time too, like you didn't even have to like get it like the little slot. You could just get it with an open net.
oh, well, dude, obviously. They looked at you and they said, my God, we just bankrupted ourselves. Now we got to put a little slot there or something.
Ever since I've done it, no one else that I've seen has gotten the opportunity to do it. So I must have.
Yeah, you must have been the decision maker that was like, I think we give this guy too many prizes.
Yeah. But no, mine, it's very fun team to watch, honestly.
Sure. I think I'm going to try to get in for game. Looking at my schedule, I'll probably try to get in for game 5.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, assuming you will need a game 5, which you probably will.
And as you know, always goes round to.
Yeah, that's right.
Or they could be putting for a 4-game sweep.
Yeah, that I don't see that happening. The Growlers are doing pretty good this year. Most points they've had in a regular season.
Yeah.
That's beating their Kelly Cup run here, right?
Yeah. Like I said, it could be it's maybe just because they had a lot better luck with injuries this year and call-ups and stuff.
Okay.
So they've kept a lot of their players throughout the year. Don't get me wrong, they've had some call-ups like C.H.O.W and Zach Solo. They spent a nice bit of time with the Marlies, but for the most part, most of them stayed like with the Growlers. You've always had at least like one like really good line.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. No, that's right. No, that C.H.O.W is a good player. I like him.
Yeah. He plays a lot bigger than his size.
Yeah, for sure. He's not a very tall guy by no means, but he does play a good game.
Yeah, he always finishes his checks.
You know the name of the really tall defenseman that they got off the Moose?
Chris Martinet?
I think so. He's like 27 or something. Like his number is 27.
Yeah. That's Martinet.
He's a freaking skyscraper.
He is. And Southers too. 27 is Southers.
I think Southers is one thing that that sounds right.
Southers. He's a center. I think we're on.
Did they pick him up for the Moose?
No. They just signed him this year to an CHO contract. Or maybe the Marlies signed him and he just played.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's from the Moose. But Martinet is from the Moose.
Martinet's from the
He's
Moose.
He's on defense and he's also really tall too. I think he's like 6'6".
Okay. I know there's one of the guys that I was thinking about. He was playing there that game he went in.
Yeah.
And man, I was like, this dude is like.
Yeah, he's listed as 6'8", but I would argue that he might be taller.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Might have been stooped down when he measured him.
Yeah. He said, "Put me at 6'8". Don't want the attention."
Yeah, I don't want the attention. I'm not the next Sedino Chara by no means.
Yeah.
Got a 8.5-foot wingspan. So enough about the local guys. As much as it's fun to watch the Growlers and whatnot, we're here for the playoff edition of CHOW, I guess. Want to call it that? Some playoff predictions and such. Lots to talk about there.
Yep. Sure. Seems like a lot of good matchups.
You know who didn't make playoffs?
Flames.
Flames. That was awful. I mean, they had a way worse first half of the year than the second half.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, I'm talking about the rest of the league got stronger, but I felt on paper Flames were a lot better team this year than they were last year.
Oh, I mean, look stat-wise, for sure, right?
Well, I guess Hubert didn't really live up to his old season.
No,
Stuff like that.
he has the worst differential for a high-scoring player in NHL history.
Really?
I got it right there. His differential went from 115 points last year to 55 points this year. That's negative 60 from last season to this season. That is the worst record in NHL history and the worst record by a 100-point scorer in
So that's what the
40-plus years.
that's what the minimum is. It's like 100 points.
I think that's how that stat ran. It was like 100-point seasons. When you have a 100-point season the next year. Like, there was a bunch of guys there from the 70s who had, like, 105-point seasons, and they went down to 52. So it was a 57-point differential.
Yeah.
Even though Huberdeau has the worst. Of course, it's got to be a Calgary Flames stat, don't it? So,
Yeah, you could even argue like last year, like Hubert was playing like unreal hockey. You could argue that he's probably top 5 in the league at some points.
yeah, he had 115 points, man. That's an incredible year. Him and Johnny Gaudreau, right? I mean, when you lost Gaudreau and you got Huberdeau, you almost assumed that despite looking at the age, you had a pretty even swap there for, I don't know if Chuck was traded for him, but you know what I'm saying,
Yes. Yeah.
right? I mean, we signed Kadri, so I mean, he kind of got the same style of hockey as Chuck would say, right? A big gritty, he can still score, he can still play. Huberdeau and Gaudreau, they don't really get into the play, into the physical play.
I think he dropped down a little bit with
Kadri.
for Kadri for C.H.O.W. But you also got Mackenzie Weegar, who was arguably, third best defenseman on Florida last year, maybe even second best.
Yeah, and I mean, he's probably top 3 defenseman on Calgary this year, right?
Yeah.
Rasmus Anderson was still good, but he didn't have as good as years he had the year before.
No, he was. I was expecting a lot of him, but he really wasn't doing that great.
Well, I mean, when the whole team does crap, you can't expect one player to still.
I actually, I had Rasmus Anderson in my hockey pool that you had like 2 years ago, not this season, last season.
Okay, yeah.
Got rid of him this year, got rid of all Calgary players, and I guess now with the leader.
Yeah,
paid off,
okay. Rub it in a little bit there, right?
40-point lead, no big deal.
Oh, yeah. Jared walks out of the regular season of my hockey pool, which actually runs regular season start to end of playoffs. Walks out of it in first place, 40 points in the lead. It was 2 years in a row now. There's been a pretty well blowout lead in the regular season.
Still not over, though.
It's not over,
A couple players behind me, or a couple teams, I should say. Got a couple players that could go pretty deep, and if my players get put out early, it's anybody's pool, right?
It is, yeah, for sure, especially with goaltenders. Right?
Yeah.
Get a shutout, that's 3 points on the goaltender. So, I mean, 3 points, not to say that the goalie's going to get 10 shutouts in the playoffs. That don't happen. But, you know what I mean?
To win the Stanley Cup, you need at least 16 wins.
That's right.
So that's 16 points right there.
It's the same goalie, that's almost 32 points.
Oh, yes. It's 2 points.
2 points in the win.
Yeah.
So,
32, 2 points in the win. And if it's an overtime loss, you get 1 point, right? So,
not in playoffs.
Okay.
Not in playoffs. No, that changes in the playoffs. I got to go home and actually start redoing the website because the website doesn't allow you to do regular season and playoffs. It only allows you to do each. So I actually have to take your points, put it in as bonus points, and give you all your playoff players.
Okay.
So that'll take me a couple hours this evening for sure from 31 people.
Yeah, for sure.
See, I'm more excited to talk about that than the Flames. I just only like you want to talk about it, but it's like, do I really have to? But no, it's a bummer of a year for sure. I mean, you see them go, I think it was a 9 or 10 game point streak at the end of the season, to fight for this playoff spot. Now, I mean, they lost to Vancouver and Nashville in the shootout in 2 of their last 3 games. But it doesn't really
Doesn't make a difference, but it still hurts.
No, it doesn't make a difference because Winnipeg won all their games.
Yeah, still having players like Nick Ritchie shooting over Tyler Foley.
I don't understand what Sutter does. I don't understand what he's thinking.
I saw an interview questioned his decision. His reasoning was that Nick Ritchie scored on him before.
I seen that. Now Sutter has definitely made a lot of questionable choices this year, right? I mean, like there's a lot of times we were down 3-2 in a game, and Sutter will put out Lucic for a minute and a half shift.
Yeah.
And I mean, Lucic was good 5 years ago. Don't get me wrong, and he still can be a very big, attitude guy, a big momentum shifter.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, to put him out, when we're 2.5 minutes left in the game, and you're down 3-2. It's just not a great decision.
It's almost just like he's trying to prove something. Like that he just gets away from the fundamentals just to boost his own ego. Like if Lucic would have went out there threw a big hit that led to a goal or something, then he would get all the credit for it, right? So I feel like that's the kind of thing that he's trying to get after.
Yeah.
More of an ego thing for him.
I think so, and I honestly think that he likes his old Los Angeles Kings players. Right? Anybody that coached on LA, I think he has a soft spot for the playing, right? Toffoli performed this year. Don't get me wrong, but Toffoli was out on first line all the time. Lucic was put in odd times. And that's the guys that have started with Sutter, and they say that his coaching style is what's going to win them above.
Yeah.
And it's the rest of the team, like Michael Backlund and Elias Lindholm, and Nazem Kadri. Like, none of them got time for his coaching style. They don't like it, and they don't want to play. And, I mean, there's rumors going around that these guys are going to want out after 1 year, or Kadri should say, wants out after 1 year, if Sutter is not changed coaching style-wise.
Really? How many years does Sutter have left on his contract?
I think he signed for a 3-year contract. So, next year, he should still be there. Now, I could be wrong on 3.
You think the Florida really?
I got a gut feeling they will not fire him in the offseason. I got a gut feeling he'll still be there in October. But I think if he were not performing by All-Star break, which is too late in the season to honestly be considered what to do.
Yeah.
I think that's when he'll be gone. I honestly think that if there's no improvement, he'll be gone by trade deadline or All Star weekend next year.
Sometimes it's all it takes just a simple coaching change because Calgary Flames, like I said, were probably better on paper this year than they were last year. And they were one of those worse.
Awful, honestly, awful. I mean, there's some stats there I've got jotted down, if you can see them there, about like 1 goal games. And I mean, I know they hit the post. I think it's 88 times they've recorded hitting the post this season. 88. Awful. They lost to teams such as Montreal, Anaheim, Columbus, Philadelphia. They lost to Chicago 3 times. Like, those are big points when we're fighting for wildcard spots.
Yeah.
We lost to Chicago in the race for a playoff spot. There's 2 valuable points. It's a momentum shift. If you win that game, everybody goes in and plays harder.
Should just not happen. You can see, like, in the middle of the regular season, you can just kind of, like, on cruise control, basically.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to fight for the playoffs, it should not happen.
No, for sure. It's just in Chicago. I mean, it's a bottom feeder team this year.
Yeah.
They got nobody left.
I would argue that they're probably worse than on paper.
Oh, definitely now. And with Taves going, yeah.
So I'd say it's between them and Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, Philadelphia is pretty. They weren't the worst this year. They won more games than Chicago.
No, but I mean, like on paper. Arizona's there's good.
Arizona's after picking up a couple pieces that the team's showing a bit better. They have not been as crappy lately.
They done real at home.
Yeah, well, they were good.
Their home record was like way above 500.
Yeah. Just like off topic, but basketball. You go look at the Golden State Warriors. I think they only lost 7 or 8 home games this year.
Really?
They only lost. But their road record, they only won like 12 or 13 road games. So they made the playoffs in 6 seed. Skipped over the play-ins that the NBA does now, which I hate, by the way.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
And they're in 6th seed in the West with a absolute dog crap, horrible away record, but an outstanding home record. Makes no sense. Absolutely, basketball is just weird.
Yeah, and especially this year, too. Basketball is just like all over the place. Every team was so good this year.
Yeah, you look at who didn't make the playoffs, and it's like, man, all these teams are practically the same.
Yeah.
These records are like 2 and 3 games off each. But no, the Flames, there's not much I can say about them. I mean, it's just one of those years. I mean, the best thing I think to look forward to is the future. I mean, that's what every team would tell you. Obviously, it's going to make the playoffs. But I mean, we had Dustin Wolf and Matthew Coronado brought up to play in the final game of the season. They won 3-1 over San Jose, and Dustin Wolf played very well.
So was that one the plan from the start, or did they bring them up when they still had a chance?
No, they brought them up after they were eliminated. They had 1 game left after they were eliminated. So they brought him up and played the last game. Now, I mean, Wolf, he has an outstanding AHL record. He is phenomenal down in the AHL.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that can transfer over to NHL stats. I'm hoping the guy can.
Goalies are so unpredictable too, though. Like Montreal, for example, like Cade and Primo.
He was slated to be amazing.
Yeah, he was slated to be the next Carey Price for him, right? But came into the league and he couldn't stop the beach ball.
No, it's horrible.
Like I think he was a Hobie Baker finalist.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know, he was up there for something really high award in NCAA. Maybe it was just he was named best goalie for that year or something like that. He had like a 30-something save percentage in college. Came to the league, just didn't do a thing.
No, that happens a lot. Sometimes it's almost like goalies are rushed.
Yeah. And I feel like
You could bring Dustin Wolf in next year for the Flames with an outstanding AHL record, and you might transfer him to the NHL too quick. You might start him in 10 of your first 20 games, and you can ruin him.
Yeah. And I feel like goalies, it could also go the other way too. Rather than like them go downhill, they could also like rise really quick.
Yeah.
Like Scott Darling, for example, in CHOW, he started the SPHL, a level lower than the CHL, 4th tier pro hockey.
Yeah.
And made it all the way to the NHL.
Yeah. that kind of thing is crazy. And Carter Hart's another good example of that. I think Carter Hart has just been downtrending, man.
Yeah.
Carter Hart's awful. He was supposed to be. He was another guy that was compared to Carey Price.
Yeah.
They said like Philadelphia has a future with this guy.
And his play style was very similar to yours.
Yep. And then of course, what happens? I mean, Philadelphia doesn't have a team in front of them, not a very good one. But Carter Hart he's definitely got it downhill. He played good his first year in the league, I think.
Yeah, and I think that just made it even worse for him. A lot of pressure to live up to.
For sure, a lot of pressure. So there's a couple things I got there. If you do, not to reach over you. So the Flames had 48 games decided by 1 goal. 30 of those were losses. 17 overtime losses. 25 losses, which is an NHL record again. Outshooting their opponents by 10 or more shots.
Really? They must have a pretty poor shooting percentage, did they?
I don't know offhand. I'm kind of just too sickened to even go look. So we got Clayton Keller ties Keith CHO.W for the best point record, point per game actually, evenly. 82 points this season.
For Arizona?
For Arizona, yeah, that's Arizona's stat. Cam Fowler sets ice time record with 38 minutes and 55 seconds of ice time in 1 game. That's a lot. That's almost 2 full periods, dude.
Yeah. I guess the game went to overtime, didn't it?
I'm not entirely sure about that.
Jeez. You would think so.
You would hope so with 38 minutes of ice time. Now, there's only an additional 5 minutes if he plays in overtime. So, I mean, if that's true and he played the entire overtime, let's say there was no whistle.
Still 33 minutes.
It's 33 minutes of ice time, almost 34.
Yeah.
That's a lot in 1 game. He's a good defenseman, though, Cam Fowler.
Yeah, he's solid.
Craig Anderson plays in his final NHL game against his former team, the Sens. Both the Buffalo players and the Sens players all congratulated him, hugged him and whatnot as he went off the ice.
Pretty respectable guy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As we said, Taves is done as a Blackhawk, played his final game in the Chicago uniform. Giroux and Pavelski hit 1,000 career points on the same night.
I thought Giroux couldn't get any better until he moved to Ottawa. And he's like 33 now, 34.
Yeah, he's doing very good, right? I mean, 2 of those guys are
thriving in their older years.
Thriving, and definitely for sure. I mean, not all players can play to 35 and 36 and still put up this many points. Now, Islanders and Panthers are squeezed into the Atlantic wild card. But the Capitals and Penguins both missed the playoffs for the first time 17 seasons.
Before Crosby over Canara.
Yeah, basically. Well, I think Pittsburgh missed the playoffs the first year that Crosby was on the team, I do believe. I could be wrong on that. I think he missed the first year. Crosby hit the 1,500 career point mark on his playoff push. He's the 6th fastest player to do that in 1,188 games. Behind Phil Esposito, Jaromir Jagr, Marcel Dion, Mario Lemieux, and Wayne Gretzky. Pittsburgh being eliminated from the playoffs, eliminated from playoff contention, is the longest active playoff streak broken in all 4 core sports. Football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. It's the longest streak amongst all those sports, and it's been broken. NHL's best now is Boston and Toronto, who have both made the playoffs 7 years in a row. So in Pittsburgh, we got Burke, Hextall, and Pryor all fired. That's a heavy move, man. Guys make the playoffs for 16 years straight. 17th year, they're like, yeah, no, we just missed the playoffs by 2 points. Let's fire everybody in the office.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It
just 1 game.
It don't seem reasonable. Don't seem reasonable.
I guess, I don't know, unless they're trying to make a major shape up there. I don't know.
To what end? I mean, you got Malkin and Crosby who are in their mid-30s.
Oh, but Malkin's probably in his late 30s.
Yeah, because he's older than Crosby.
Yeah, he's probably like 38, 39 right now.
So, I mean, what do you expect, these players to be doing? Like, you can't expect them to continue winning you Stanley Cups in their 50s. I don't understand.
Crosby, he might be an exception.
Now, if they started doing dog crap, next year, Burke and Hextall, like, chop them off, get rid of them. But to fire them at, like, missing the playoffs by 2 points. Let's talk playoffs. We're here talking about all these things that don't even matter now tomorrow, because this is playoff eve.
That's right.
So the first series that I want to talk about is the Boston and Florida series. And I mostly want to talk about Boston because I don't think Florida has much of a chance with the Bruins.
No, not at all.
I mean, I think it's going to be a good series to watch. I think with CHOW and Lomberg, is it? 98?
Lomberg, yeah.
Two of them, when they get up against Bertuzzi and Marchand and Hathaway, that's going to be a rocket series to watch.
I think it's going to be pretty fast games.
Yeah, I think so. I honestly, I haven't done any more bracket on NHL.com right now. I'm not going to say I'm going to go back and watch this video over to marking what I'm saying, but I would not be surprised if Boston took that series in 5 games.
Yeah.
Playing the way they're playing in the regular season, dude, the guys just come out of a NHL record-breaking 64-win season. That's above 750.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I know there's such thing as like the President's Trophy curse, but I honestly can't see them slowing down.
Didn't Colorado win last year with the President's Trophy curse, or did it have the President's Trophy the year before? I could be wrong, but I think they won the cup last year with the President's Trophy.
Boston's just so deep. Like, they've got like 3 very good lines. Like, their third line could arguably be like Montreal's first line.
Oh, for sure.
And in their fourth line is just like an energy line. Like, well,
Beat the crap out of people.
pretty much.
And they
Greer and Frederick and Hathaway.
Yeah.
Just tough players.
Oh, for sure. Boston is doing incredibly well. You got Swayman and Allmark. I'm not sure who won what, but the stat is that this is the first time ever a goalie tandem has one goalie with 40 wins and the other goalie with 20 wins. First time that's ever happened. They've got Pasternak, who had 61 goals season end, broke the 60 goal mark. So he got 61 goals, so he did better than Matthews last year.
Yeah.
With 61 goals. What else have we got? There's something to understand here.
Fewest goals against.
Fewest goals against this year is 177.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody says regular season doesn't matter. That's true, but not true at the same time. Regular season is very important, for momentum and for obviously the points to get into the playoffs. But I mean, when you have a 64-win season, can you really be shut down like as quick as people are? There's a lot of Habs and Leafs fans praying that Florida wipes them out.
See, Boston's that one team that every year they've always got so many haters that saying, "Oh, this is the year that they're going to downfall," but they never ever did.
Nope. I mean, they've made the finals 3 times in the last 10 seasons.
Yeah.
And I know they only won the cup not 10 seasons, 12 seasons. Sorry. They've made the finals 3 times in 12 seasons. And yeah, they only won 1 cup out of those 3 appearances, but
most of the guys are like the same. Well, not the same. Most of the guys, I should say. But you got like the Bergeron's there still.
Yeah.
Marchand made cup finals a couple times with him.
Yeah.
Krejci's another guy.
Yeah. A lot of the team that was there in 2019 is there now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I expect Boston. I mean, I think safely to put on like a bracket, I would say Boston in 6, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Boston in 5. I don't know what you would mark on that, but
I would probably agree, to be honest. Even like 5 or 6 pretty safe, to be honest. Can't see going to 7.
no, I can't see Florida winning it at all. Period.
No.
Now, the winner of that series will win the winner of Tampa and Toronto rematch.
That's kind of like the marquee series of the first round.
Yeah. They were the best matchup for Tampa last year in regards of giving Tampa the biggest competition. As much as I hate the Leafs, they played them really well last year in the first round, and I was surprised to see I wasn't like surprised to see Tampa walk into the first round last year, but like, I was kind of saying like, wow, Toronto actually give them a run for their money.
You always do, though.
Oh, they always do.
You just can't close the deal.
They never ever close that deal. No.
And every year, like, it seems like they add more pieces or add a little bit more grit. Like this year, you added McCabe and a couple other guys.
Yeah.
You're always wondering, is this going to be the year to make it past the first round? But until you actually do that, it's just a little bit of skepticism.
I think this is the year they're going to do it. I'm going to mark that down in video evidence right now. Yes, she's recording. Video evidence right now. This is the year Toronto gets past the first round.
I'm going to have to disagree.
I hope they don't, because I don't want to hear the Leafs fans saying, look at that, they won the round. They're celebrating the same as if they won Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah.
But, no, I do honestly think this is the year Toronto is going to get past Tampa. Now, what makes you think they're not going to do it?
Just the same management year over year, same culture basically through the team. It's just like what's changing. Like, sure, you're bringing in a couple of little pieces like McCabe and
Lafferty.
Who's that, sorry?
Lafferty.
Lafferty, yeah.
Lafferty.
And Achari, but like, really, you're still under the same culture. Those guys are playing, 10 minutes a game? 10 to 15 minutes a game?
That's right. It's true. I mean, unless they're going out there, they're producing a goal every time they're on the ice.
Yeah, it's not going to make that much of a difference to me. You still got the same core guys who are going to play the majority of minutes. You got Nylander, you got Murr, Matthews, and Tavares. And to me, I wouldn't even argue that more than one of those players are what you call playoff players.
Right. I mean, when they lost to Montreal in 21.
And I called that, actually. I said if in a 7-game series, Montreal will beat Toronto just because playoff is a different style of hockey.
It is, for sure.
And but I don't think the Leafs are suited for it against Tampa.
For Marner, I mean, I look at him, he's a great player, right? I love Marner. I mean, anybody would want him on their team. He's a great player. But to see him emotionally shut down when they lost to Montreal, like they're out there on the ice, it's game 7. I think they were down 3-1.
Yeah.
And Marner's out there playing shifts, and he's like frantically going around at the puck, and he keeps losing the puck, and he can't get the puck in the net, and the dude starts crying. He actually has tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know you gotta play hockey with your heart. Like, you gotta get in there, you gotta put your best effort in. But you can't get out there and cry, dude. Come on.
No, jeez, no.
Like, what are you gonna do? Buy underoos next? Like.
Yeah. Just to me, I just can't keep playing the work you got there.
I can tell you, if Toronto does not make it past the first round this year, I know the first person gone, and he's not wearing skates. That's Shanahan.
You think?
Shanahan's first one gone. He's gone before Dubas.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Dubas doesn't have much to work with, but I feel like he's not doing the best job, in my opinion.
I think the worst thing that Dubas has done in the last so many years since he's been there is the amount of money he's throwing out on contracts.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm not saying, it's my argument every time with the Leafs. And you know what? His numbers fit nowadays crisis. But see, my opinion, I think that the overpayment of the Leafs and McDavid's huge contract is what started the ball rolling on these big contracts nowadays. Yeah. I think when the Leafs started getting paid huge money, and players know that they can get paid huge money and not do anything in the playoffs, they said, well, if he can get 40 goals and I can get 40 goals, I'm worth the same as Matthews.
Yeah.
Right? So we're getting this big, snowball effect of money. And I think everybody's getting overpaid, and I'm only saying they're getting overpaid because I'm looking at the size of the salary cap. Do you agree that the Leafs are getting paid too much money for players?
Yeah, definitely, especially in the top 6. Top 6 is just how can you have multiple players making $10 million a year, and have your second line left winger Michael Bunting making 1.7?
Yeah,
he's arguably one of your
better players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't get me wrong, he's a great player for him, but that's probably a bad example to use. But I mean, your third and fourth line are made up players making like the NHL minimum.
Yeah.
Most are.
No, that's right. Matthews didn't have a great year. Now, he picked it up at the end of the season, last 15, 20 games. But, I mean, like, this guy is making over 10 mil in a season. And, you know, he should be doing more than what he's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, argument goes the same right now for Huberdeau. I honestly don't have much to say in respect of you know, Huberdeau is a prime example of why I'm right. You know, you're paying this guy over $10 million for what? Like, you know, Calgary is going down the same rabbit hole now as the Leafs are, and it's kind of because of those players getting signed the big money.
Yeah, it makes like snowball that don't maybe.
Huberdeau is getting paid his big money. We paid a nice bit of chunk of money out for Kadri. Neither one of them performed to what they should be, and now we got to sign Toffoli and Mangiapane,
Don't have much cap space.
and I think Noah Hannafin. And, you know, where are we going to get the money to sign these guys that they, like, you know, 2 years ago they were worth $6 million, now they think they're worth $8 million.
Yeah.
Right? And your cap space has not went up enough to.
No, and cap space actually froze for a couple of years just because of COVID and stuff like that. But back to the Leafs and Tampa series. I got Tampa at 6. They're going to split one in Toronto first, either game 1 or game 2. I'm not sure. And then they're going to win it home ice game 6.
Ooh, that's a rough one. Listen, I'm saying Toronto in 7. I'm putting it down on paper. Toronto in 7.
Yeah, can't get on.
I know. I don't like the Leafs either, and it's mostly because of the way the fans get on. And I mean, I got no room to talk here now. Calgary's not in the playoffs, but Toronto's doing it. Toronto's getting one round. But I mean, listen, if it was Boston and Toronto second round, no prayer for the Leafs. No prayer for the Leafs. They're getting banged up, beat up, and just gonna be laughed at. Right?
Now, do you think the Eastern Conference is going to be tough just because of how many good teams there is?
I think the Metro is going to be a rougher go of it. I think the Atlantic. I mean, that, you know, we just talked about Boston series and just how hard hitting it's going to be. We just talked about, you know, which team we thought was going to make the Tampa Toronto series. But I mean, you look at the Islanders and Hurricanes. Islanders squeezed into the wild card. But you look at how good the Islanders play when they get going good.
Yeah.
I think they've got a better chance against the Hurricanes than the Panthers do against the Bruins.
Oh, definitely. And the Islanders are the type of team who strive under like close games because
Yep.
they're just a fight check team. They finish their hits. They're just fundamentally strong. They're just good in close games.
I know. I'll still put down Carolina.
Well, it's gonna be easy.
No, I'm willing to say Carolina in 6.
Yeah, I'd say Carolina in 7.
I mean, you know what? If the Islanders win, this will be the series that I'm going to say I'll be least surprised with the winner. Islanders or Hurricanes. Because if Islanders come out of it, you know, I'm not to say that the Islanders are going to go win the Cup of the year. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the Islanders that do have good, probably get the best chance in the wild card 4 teams either
Yeah,
side
well, as long as they're in the playoffs, they're
for upset. Yeah, no, that's right. Now, who do you think? Oh shoot! Don't forget Islanders. Barzal's back.
Oh, okay.
Barzal's back for game 1.
That's a big help.
That's a huge help. Horvat played a lot better when Barzal was there.
Yeah. Well, he's got some additional fun.
Right?
Barzal, that's all the man does is pass. Like, he just doesn't shoot.
No, he's a team player, right? He got a similar style game as Huberdeau got. He's more of a playmaker than a play finisher.
Except it's a lot better than Gabriel this year.
This year, usually for injury for this week though.
Yeah, he was.
New Jersey and the Rangers. It's a good old fashioned.
Yeah, this one's going to be a good series.
Yeah.
Could go either way. I honestly don't have one preference over the other in this one, honestly.
I'm only favoring New Jersey, I think, because of Dawson Mercer.
Yeah, like I would prefer New Jersey to win, but with the addition of Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko, But it's
Rangers should be doing something.
Rangers should be going all the way, not to the, maybe not win the cup, but
I've seen multiple people predict the Rangers in the finals. Like, people are sharing their brackets online.
Yeah.
I've seen multiple people predict the Rangers in the finals. I can't see it. I don't see it, by the way. I don't see it.
oh,
I don't see the Rangers making it out of the second round.
against who?
They play the winner of the Hurricanes or Dollars.
Really, you don't see them beating one of those teams.
I don't see the Rangers beating the Hurricanes. No, God, no. Hurricanes are great. Hurricanes is a sick team.
Yeah, Hurricanes are robust.
They're one of those teams that just don't get talked about.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, everybody, like, sleeps on them. I know. I honestly think that if the Rangers were to win the series against the Devils, I think they'd be stumped by the Hurricanes. Personally. But
I say, honestly, like, these teams are so evenly matched in the East. It's just, if the only team's not evenly matched, I would say, is Boston and Florida.
For the East, for sure.
The rest, they're just could go either way.
Yeah. But I'm going to say Devils in 7, for sure,
Well,
for that series.
I'm going to have to say Rangers and 7. Because, like I said, it could go either way. But I see the Rangers going far in this year's playoffs. I don't see them getting past Boston.
Like, I wouldn't care if the Rangers won it all. Like, they've got a lot of players there that, that haven't won a cup. But, I mean, you got Tarasenko and Kane. They want to win another cup. They've both won a Stanley Cup in the last 10 years. Right?
No.
But, I mean, Panarin. Did Panarin win the cup with Chicago in 15?
I thought he did.
I could be wrong.
Actually, no, I think he came the year after.
That's what I was about to say. I could be wrong, but I think he didn't get drafted until that year. So, I mean, there's players there that deserve a cup.
Zibanejad, he hasn't won the cup.
No. I don't care if Truba doesn't it.
I like Truba, though. Unpopular opinion, but
He's a rough player, man.
he is, and that's the way you got to be in playoffs. Got a lot to talk about, but
Yeah, for sure. So now that the East is spoke about, I suppose. That's a Newfoundland term. Spoke about, I suppose. The West. I said back on the other show, near the beginning of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if Edmonton won the cup this year. I've said that. I'm a Calgary Flames fan, true and true. I have been for 85-90% of my life. I've been a Flames fan. Old enough to know what a hockey puck is, basically. And I picked the Calgary Flames. Don't ask. I don't know. But I honestly...
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Go, man. I've told you this story before. But no, I honestly think the Oilers have a grand chance at winning the cup this year.
I couldn't disagree with that, too.
You do?
I got the Kings beating them the first round.
Ooh, really?
Kings, I'd say 6 or 7.
Now, Kings are playing good this year. Better than I expected them to.
I feel like McDavid is just going to get really frustrated with Doughty and a couple other shutdown defensemen that LA has. Like Mikey Anderson's another one.
That's true. I mean, they beat them last year, don't forget.
Yeah.
They beat them in 6 games last year. Yeah. Right? Don't forget that.
If there's a team that's going to
upset the Oilers,
it's them.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a hot take.
That's the biggest upset that I got in the first round. I'll give them 7 games this year.
You gonna give them 7 games?
Yeah.
I'm saying Oilers in 6. Same as the last year. Oilers in 6.
That would make sense. Like, I just don't.
Well, if you're right, then you're right on the money.
Yeah, I got a feeling with the Kings.
It's possible. I'm not disagreeing with you in any high arguments, because I think it's possible. I think that the Kings could do it. I don't think they'll win the cup.
No.
But it's possible they could have upset the Oilers for sure.
You just don't think they'll win the cup.
No, for sure.
Better goaltending than the Oilers.
Yeah, Campbell has not been.
Campbell has been awful.
Yeah, Stuart Skinner has been their savior in net, right?
Yeah, but even he's not doing that great. Like, what's the save percentage now? Like 15, 13? Something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's above, like, average, I guess.
No, that's right. 153. I mean, you got McDavid coming off his career year, his best yet, 153 points. He's the first player to cross over the 150 point threshold since 95-96. The Oilers have 3 players with over 100 points. That's the first time that happened since 95-96. He won his first Rocket Richard this year with 64 goals. At San Jose for the last game of the season. Dude could have blasted 2 pucks into the net to be the best goal scorer in a single season in the last 25 years, and he didn't put the puck in the net. 2 assists, no goals.
I think he's on another level this year, but and he's probably like the most skilled player I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
23 years.
It's funny, everybody...
Like a skill player, not best.
No.
Skill player.
Everybody gets on his case and saying, oh man, he's way better than Crosby. You go back and look at Crosby's stats from the same age. And Crosby was basically doing the same thing, and he already has a Stanley Cup at this point in his career.
Yeah.
Right? He has 3 now, but at that age, he had 1.
That's what I mean. Like, he might not have the best career, be the best team player, but he is the most skilled. He's the fastest, best stick, best goal scorer.
Yeah, it's
best passer.
You see him come in, man, like the highlights, like against the Rangers and against the Flames, where he just comes in and he just dances around 4 defenders.
Yeah, he just looks like he's playing against kids pretty much.
It basically looks like, yeah, there's an alumni game here against the under 13s. That's what it looks like half the time when he goes and plays against the defense. Yeah. But no, I mean, he's been a good playoff player too, right? I mean, he put the dagger in Calgary 2 games out of 5.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to. That's what I'm saying. Like, he just doesn't have the team to support him. So I don't really like the argument about Stanley Cups just because you look at all Crosby's Cups, he's had a solid core win them.
That's right. I mean, you got Letang, Malkin, you had Fleury.
Even like players like dead players like Chris Kunitz.
Yeah.
Guys, right?
Yeah.
Like those are the guys that help you win, but
no, that's right.
Under the radar.
No. I think Matthias Ekholm is a big pickup though for the Oilers, right? They thought they had a big time defenseman with Tyson Barrie. Now he was putting up points, but since they've traded him for Ekholm, like
I feel like Evan Bouchard's going to take over Tyson Barrie's role. Yeah. He's got, I think, he's over 20 per game player over some of the games.
Crazy.
Last some of the games.
You know the Oilers are 17-2-1 since the trade deadline.
Yep.
That's nuts. Like before the trade deadline, they weren't that far off Calgary.
No, they're hit or miss if you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then 17-2-1.
It's a pretty good bump.
Not bad, man. But no, I'm saying Oilers in 6.
Look at the Kings at 7.
Crazy.
How about the Jets and Golden Knights?
Jets and Golden Knights. Like I'm pissy against the Jets now, right? Where they took the playoff spot from Calgary. Not saying that they took it from them, but
they earned it from them.
They earned it, right? I think Vegas is going to take this series regardless.
I think so.
I don't think it's going to be an easy series for the Golden Knights, but I'm going to say Vegas is 6.
See, I think it might be a little bit easier than you think. I think the Jets were struggling a lot down the stretch. It's just they had a pretty easy schedule.
They did. They did have an easy schedule. That's for sure.
So I think Vegas and 5. Maybe it's 4.
Wow, sweep. You know, we've seen sweeps before in series I've predicted for 7. I've seen that before in recent years. But no, I think the Jets are going to take a few games. I really do. But no, Jets. Yeah, they struggled a bit.
I guess they got hell of a week. Always been their game at least.
They started playing good at the end of the year when it mattered.
Yeah. But I'll still take Vegas and 5. I think.
Yeah, I'll take Vegas as 6.
Like I said, I think you got to help up there and then even when you had at least one game.
Now, if you got either Vegas versus Oilers or Vegas versus Kings, like, who is the better matchup? Who would give Vegas the better run for their money?
I'd say the Kings.
Still think the Kings.
Yeah. It's just the Kings are solid all around. And the Oilers are just, I don't know, they're just top heavy. Don't get me wrong, the Oilers are unreal just because of what they McDavid. McDavid makes a top tier cup contender every year.
Yeah.
But if he's having a couple off games or he gets frustrated, that's it. Like Drysdale just doesn't have the capacity, or he can't carry the team with McDavid.
No. Know what you're saying. I understand. I get what you mean, for sure.
And if someone were to pick on McDavid, who's going to stand up for the Sultan game?
No, that's right.
Darnell Nurse.
Yeah. I don't like Nurse. I don't think he's as good as the player they're paying for.
No.
Over beer. Yeah, well, I mean, I it's either Vegas or the Oilers coming out of the Pacific. I don't disagree with your Kings points, but I don't think I can see the Kings going to the Western Conference Finals. I don't see it. But that's why they call them opinions.
I don't know. But I never said, like, I don't know if they'd actually be, let's say they'd be a better matchup.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Vegas is going to go to the Cup final. I got a feeling that it's going to be Boston, Vegas, and the Cup final.
I was saying Boston and Oilers, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty popular.
Yeah, it's a popular matchup, and I mean, it would be, fun to watch. But I think either Vegas or Oilers are going to come out the West. I don't think anybody in the Central has a chance at beating one of them in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. Dallas, maybe.
We got the Dallas versus Minnesota series, right? I mean, I'd prefer Minnesota over Dallas. And I think that stems a lot from playing Dallas twice in the playoffs as a Flames fan the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Last time in the bubble, and we put them out in double overtime, Game 7 last year, right? I mean,
I think I like Dallas over Minnesota here.
yeah. To win it, or just a personal opinion?
Both. It's going to be a tough series, Paul.
Yeah. Minnesota has a lot of first-round exits. They've got almost as many first-round exits in the last 10 years as Toronto does.
Yeah.
They're awful for first-round exits. But they got Kaprizov the year, right?
Yeah, it's had been a couple years, though.
Yeah, I know. But I think he's playing better than... He had an injury, yes, but he's playing amazing this year.
Yeah, I think Dallas is just not real. Got Jason Robertson. I think he'll still do unreal in the playoffs.
Jason Robertson now has the most points in a single season as a 23 years old or younger U.S. Sport player. I know that's a pretty specific stat, but he is.
Still competing against players like Mike Modano and those kind of guys. So.
Yeah, Mike Modano, Brett Hall, Patrick Kane, Austin Matthews. Right? This guy has the most points.
At one point, he was up there with David in point totals.
This year, yeah. Yeah, he slowed down a bit second half.
Yeah.
But
he was up there for a little bit, so. And you saw how good of a year that David had, so imagine if he kept at the same pace.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, Dallas. He's definitely a big part of what Dallas is doing this year. Pavelski is still there at his age, helping that team go as far as it's going. Yeah, crazy.
I'll say Dallas in 7 just because I don't think it's going to be an easy series.
I'm going to give Minnesota the benefit of the doubt, and I guess I'll say 7 just for the competition was. But I'm going to say Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but wouldn't be out of the question. I think Dallas will squeeze it out, especially if Jay Van having a hot year.
Yeah, he's having a good year for his age.
He's there, their leadership. If he's had a good year, everybody's having a good year.
Yeah, no, that's right. He's a very emotional player too, right? They say he sat in the locker room empty by himself for over 2 hours after the team cleared out.
Yeah, I think so.
He just sat there in silence for 2 hours. That's that's an emotional thing. To go this far playing for that long and to have it, swept his leg.
That was the bubble, right?
That was the bubble year, yeah.
That makes it even worse too because you're away from your family and stuff too, for that long, and then
for what?
Nothing, right?
For what? Yeah.
For runner-up.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have a runner-up Stefco.
No, for sure. The only other series left to talk about is Colorado versus Seattle, and I honestly think that might be the most boring first round of the year.
Probably. Seattle's just not an entertaining team to watch.
They're not entertaining to watch. They play a good game, mind you. Don't forget. Because this year they've just playing an unreal style. Like the way they play their games very different compared to what we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
But no, I think Colorado's going to take the 6. I think Seattle's going to win 2 games.
No, I'd say Colorado's going to sweep.
Colorado's sweet.
Yeah.
Now, Colorado is missing Landeskog. He's missing him all season. Now he's been confirmed not to be playing at all.
Still got McKinnon and Brandon.
Yeah.
Evan Carr, is he going to be back?
McCarr's back. I could be wrong.
Also saw a stat on him the other day.
Yeah.
For all defensemen in the first 238 games played, he has the most points out of any defenseman ever. So, over guys like Bobby Orr, those kind of guys.
Wow.
In his first 238 games, he's had, I think, 240. 2 something, anyways. It was more than a point per game in his first 238 games.
Wicked.
Over players like Bobby Orr.
Yeah, Bobby, that's a big one, right? Over Bobby Orr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I could be a couple $100 richer if it wasn't for McKinnon. The last game of the season. He got that hat trick and just took hundreds of dollars away from my fingertips. I won 100. Don't be wrong, I won 100, but I could be 500 points deep, or $500 deep if I had picked McKinnon over Kyle Connor in that square.
Yeah, that's what happens, I guess, when you pick offense combinations.
I don't need anybody to tell me how much money I've wasted in hockey pools in the last 5-6 years.
But you have the potential to win it, though.
I had the potential to win it.
All it takes is just one.
Yeah. I get $500 and I'd probably get back of 75% of what I spent the last 10 years.
Well, I mean, you can't look at it like that, though. Like, that money's already gone now. So if you win that now, it's just a bonus, right?
So that's pretty well it to talk about the first round. I mean, you never know what happens until it happens, right?
No, that's right.
Everybody just makes predictions. Everybody fills in their bracket.
Hockey's the type of sport, too, where anything could happen.
Anything can happen at any point. I mean, you look at when Tavares got absolutely leveled by Corey Perry's knee here the other year. That was a momentum shift.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Leafs would have beat Montreal if they had Tavares healthy, but I think they would have definitely made it harder.
Oh, yeah. And especially in Game 7. Game 7, that's just like being roll over and die.
Yeah. Game 7 is the ultimatum, man. You either win them or you don't.
They don't.
They don't. They never do. But no, it's going to be a fun year to watch for sure. I mean, I'm just kind of upset as a Flames fan that I don't get to see. I mean, I don't think they would have done anything against Vegas.
No.
I mean, now somebody told me that they would have bet money on Flames over Vegas versus Jets over Vegas. They said the team that was working together now. I mean, they did start working together really well.
I wouldn't say that bet money on it, but I like Calgary's chances over Winnipeg's chances.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with that. I mean, looking at it now, you're not going to see it this year, but I think the Flames could have took Vegas to 7 games for sure. Because Calgary would have just played a low-scoring game like Sutter loves to play.
And there's no shooter to put in the
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's right. Sutter's, I don't know. I think you're seeing the very near end of Sutter's career in Calgary, but like I said, I still say you could see him there till trade deadline.
Or after some of his decisions, I could see him never coaching the game in the NHL ever again.
That's possible.
He's fired from Calgary.
He's getting a hard boot in Flames territory now for sure.
I wouldn't want him to coach my team.
Oh my God, no. His style worked 10 years ago. It don't work now.
No.
Game's a different style game than it was 10 years ago. Back when I started watching playoff hockey religiously, when, the Detroit-Pittsburgh series, I think, is really where I started watching hockey religiously.
2009.
Yeah, 2008, 2009. That kind of style of hockey, Calgary would do well against the Sutter.
Yeah.
Now, it don't fit nowadays. You just got to be a well-oiled machine now, scoring to pin people in the corners to win your games nowadays.
Don't get me wrong, though. Having some big defensemen.
Oh, it
Back
helps.
in the playoffs. Montreal, for example, a couple years ago, when they made it to 7 finals against Canada, all they had was 4 unreal defensemen. Not even unreal defensemen. 4 big defensemen that were over 6'3".
Yeah.
They had Weber, Edmondson, Petrie. Who was the other one that they had?
You got me stumped.
Can't remember.
Yeah, Joe Edmondson, didn't they?
Joel Edmondson's the other guy. All those guys were over 6'3", and you could see that people were just getting intimidated by them. Like they were low-scoring games.
They took Vegas, man, and spun Vegas in 6 games. I would not have said that.
No,
Never.
that was probably the biggest upset Montreal's ever done in recent years.
That was a fun series to watch. I loved watching that year.
Yeah.
I watched every Habs game. That's Dad's fault. I'm not a Habs fan, but that's Dad's fault. For sure. All right, Jared, my buddy, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. Next time you're out in Claremont, shoot me a message. Perhaps we'll watch a playoff game or something together.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, thanks for coming on.
Yes,
Ciao.
no problem. Ciao.
Ciao. Keep shaking hands like Donald Trump. We're going to do very great next year.
Yeah.
We're going to do very great.
You can say that about Calgary.
I don't know about the Habs.